Hello and welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothien here, and today we're going to start a new series on the channel called Rank and Roll. And the idea behind this Rank and Roll guide is going to be to go through each type of commander. So Epic Cavalry, Epic Infantry, Epic Archers, Epic Garrison, Conquering, all those. This is meant to be an up-to-date replacement of my Best of the Best series guide, but also to give you a ranker on which commanders you should max in which order. So I've seen a lot of rankers out there, and it has all the commanders on one list and all that good stuff, and gives them a class grade, which is cool, and that there's a value to that. But for what I want to do for the rankers, I've never really done one because I haven't seen a full value in that. What I want to do is I want to go through each class of troop commander, whether that's epic and legendary, and I'm going to go by each type of troop. So you'll know not only what the role for each one of these commanders are, but also I'm going to give you a ranker on which order you should max these commanders in so that you can use the best commanders as early as possible. So this is a guide for new players as well as veterans, because there's some folks out there that just don't have the right commanders maxed yet, and that's what this is going to be for. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to make a full series out of this. We're going to go through all the commanders and all the groups and troop styles and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to go ahead and get jumping right into it. There's 3 epic cavalry commanders in the game. You've got Pelagius, Baybars, and Belisarius. We're going to go through roles real quick for those 3. Then we're going to jump over to the ranker, and I'm going to show you which ones you should max first, second, and third. So without further ado, Pelagius, his role is going to be that of a damage dealer from his first skill here. Also, a little bit of utility with the rage restoration that comes along with it. This basically gives you 900 damage factor over the course of 3 seconds, and then also 100 rage restored every single time this skill is used. So damage and utility, very, very nice. Some extra stats as well, and then also a heal. So again, a little bit more utility, survivability, tankiness. In my opinion, Pelagius is really his main role. PvP, PvE, however you want to use him, is going to be that of a damage dealer, utility commander with healing. So you want to use some pairings with him that go along with that, like a Double C or a Saladin or a Takeda or something that has some heal as well. You could even go with a Frederick as a second here because they both have additional skill damage. Those are good pairings for Pelagius because they complement the utility / damage very, very well. I think that that's probably the best way to summarize Pelagius. Role is damage dealing, tanky, utility with some heal. Okay, let's jump into Baybars. Baybars is a little bit of a different flavor. He is all about damage and speed. So with Baybars' first skill, he's got 1,000 damage factor after you expertise him, which can hit up to 5 targets. So up to 5,000 damage factor is pretty darn sweet. And he's got some crowd control because he puts a snare on all those targets by 50% for 2 seconds, which is significant, not only because it makes them slower, but also because there are other commanders that have additional damage when hitting a snared opponent. So not only is this necessarily just a speed debuff, but it also could be an AoE damage buff for your armies, depending on what else you're using with Baybars or with the other armies that you're using on the field. Secondly, there's some additional stat bonuses there too. A conquering skill for the third one, which isn't really that big of a deal. I wouldn't consider Baybars a conquering commander. You should not be using him as a rallier, especially late game. Maybe early game, if this is the best you have, this will certainly work, but definitely not his main role. Force skills, interesting. It's really meant to me to be more for either a way to have this commander be part of a shock troop team, where if you leave battle, you gain a speed bonus for 10 seconds that can help you maneuver on the field, get away, reposition, however you want to do it, and you get a little bit of a heal. So basically, when you leave battle and you're not dead, it heals some of your troops, and then it gives you a 50% march speed bonus for 10 seconds, which is pretty sweet. You can use this to maneuver. You can also really use this to great effect while you're killing barbarians. So if you've got Baybars, which is a great commander to be killing barbarians because you can AoE chain them together and use and kill multiple barbarians with 1 action point usage. This will also help you when you kill those barbarians get to the next barbarian quicker because of the march speed bonus, and also it will help you stay out longer because of the heal. So this is very, very nice. Again, his role summary, in my opinion: damage dealer, a little bit of extra speed, maneuverability, but tankiness as well with the heal, and then also the snare, so crowd control. So damage, crowd control, a little bit of tanky, but mostly damage and crowd control is my main role for Baybars, and he does both of those to very good effect. Now let's go to the final epic cavalry commander, everybody's favorite, Belisarius. He has a very particular role. There's not really much to get around it. There's two things that you can use him for, and both of them are for PvP. So he can be used, he's a peacekeeping commander, so he can be used in PvE content, but if you look at his first skill, it's only a 450 damage factor skill, and not really that great as far as damage goes, but the debuff is nice. So his role, in my opinion, is going to be PvP debuffer. You can pair him up with a Barca, an Ethelfled. You can use a buffer as a secondary, like a Constantine or something like that. You can do however you want, but really his main role is debuffer. And then secondly, he's used in real time. He is used for killing farmers during war. Now you can also extrapolate that to killing during kill event. If you're on a kingdom that allows that sort of thing, Belisarius will definitely work out really well. I'm not a huge fan of that part, but I am a huge fan of having an army that you can run around very quickly because of all the marching speed bonuses that he has from the mobility tree right here. And then also, he can just run around and kill those farmers nonstop and really have a hard time catching him because of all the extra bonuses from the mobility tree. So his main role, again, in my opinion, debuff, farm killer during war. Those are his big things. He's not really a high skill damage commander. He doesn't really have a whole lot of crowd control. His fourth skill is interesting. It does extra damage to targets that are under 50% health, but again, you're not doing much damage with Belisarius. You're taking away damage all the time just to get a 25% bonus whenever the target's at 50% or less. It's just, the numbers don't add up. So to me, debuffer, farm killer during war, kill event guy too, if you're in that kind of a kingdom. That's how I would do it. Now, with those roles in mind, this is what the ranker should look like. So we've got a first, second, and third here for you. And the idea behind this is that I want to be able to show you which commanders you should max first. So where should you spend your sculptures? Where should you spend your stars? If you have to use experience books, where should you spend those as well? Use this to get your first, second, and third epic cavalry commanders up and running. Okay, so first is going to be Baybars. Baybars is going to be my #1 choice. Again, he just does so much damage, and he has utility both in PvP and in PvE. He does a lot of damage. He has a heal whenever you leave combat. He's got an AoE snare, which helps not only catch those targets, but also possibly damage buffs for your other armies. I think there's just so much going on for Baybars. He's the best epic commander in the game for cavalry. Okay. Secondly is going to be Pelagius. Again, in my opinion, I love commanders that have utility. Pelagius has that in spades. His damage isn't quite as high as Baybars, which is what puts him second in my opinion. But he does have a lot of utility, and I still use him in the end game. I still use both of these commanders in the end game whenever I have a full cav army out on the field with all 5 armies. Pelagius does a great job with damage as well as healing, and he also does have that rage restoration, which is very, very nice, and paired up with other commanders that are very similarly minded, this works out really well. And then finally, again, I think this is no surprise to anybody who follows my channel, Belisarius is third. Again, just not enough going on there. I think with this video, you kind of understand why I beat up on Belisarius so much on this channel. It's not that he's a terrible commander, it's just he's very, very niche. If you're all about killing farmers and throwing out a debuff every now and again, then this guy might be first for you. But if you're all about actually being effective on the battlefield and causing damage and destruction, being effective for your alliance and your kingdom in KVK or in Ark of Osiris, the other two are really going to give you more benefit. Belisarius is really just very narrow in how it should be utilized to its maximum effect. So really, this is the ranker I think that works best for these three commanders. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you all next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.